Okie doke. So our next speaker today, our presenter is Brian D'Amico, who is the manager of educational services at VectorVest. Now, Brian has more than a decade of trading experience, and he's taught literally thousands of investors across Canada and the United States on a wide range of trading topics, from trading options to retirement investment. Now, earlier in his career, Brian was a grade school teacher, and like most great teacher, he's got this terrific ability and way of explaining complex concepts in a way that's easy for anyone to understand. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce Brian D'Amico and his topic on 3 techniques that will help you capture trades of a lifetime. So with that, Brian, the floor is now yours.
Well, thank you very much, Raleigh. I hope the sound is still okay. If at any time you guys tell me I'm too loud or too soft, just let me know, and I'll try to adjust the volume. But it's great to be here. As Raleigh said, my name is Brian D'Amico. I'm the manager of educational services at VectorVest. I'm very excited to be here today. I see Rick in the chat box says he watched our retirement seminar yesterday. Really great stuff. So it's good to have you back, Rick. Like I said, I'm excited to be here today. We're going to cover a lot of great information. I always like to start off by letting you know how to get the most out of the session. So let me cover that. I call them the 3 gets. Number 1, make sure you have a pen, paper, and a drink handy so you can take notes and you're comfortable. Number 2, get rid of things that might distract you. Close your door, turn off the ringer on your phone. Just make sure you're focused. And number 3, get into that state of learning because we're going to cover a lot of things that could help you and will help you with your trading, so you want to make sure you're in that state where you're focused on learning today. So I think you made a great decision to watch this webinar today. I know you've got a lot of things to watch today because we're going to be looking at the 3 techniques that are going to help you capture trades of a lifetime. All right, so like Raleigh said, I used to be a 3rd grade teacher, so sometimes you saw a little glimpse of a corny slide with a funny picture on it. Sometimes I say some trying to be funny things, so that's just my nature. Hopefully you're okay with that. And I'm going to give you everything I can during this webcast, and at the end we'll sum it all up. I'll show you a system where you can put it all together and start using the information that we're covering today. So if you're okay with both those things, in the chat box, let me know you're ready to go. It looks like Rick says he's got his pen, paper, and scotch. Let's maybe make it a non-alcoholic drink. So if you're ready, just let me know you're ready to go. Thanks, Richard. All right, so let's get going here. So for the next hour or so, just pay full attention, follow along. If you have questions, shoot them in the box. I've got my friend Angel. She's helping out with me today, answering questions in the chat box, so we'll do our best to answer the questions as we go. I've been with VectorVest for 13 years. When I first started with VectorVest, I would talk to customers all the time on the phone who actually considered themselves technical traders, and they would ask me this question. They'd say, hey, can I search for stocks that are having a technical crossover? Because we had a platform that allowed people to do technical charting, pull up MACD and Stochastics and all those things. So they'd say, hey, I'd love to be able to search for this stuff. Can I? And for many years I'd say, well, no, maybe it's coming in the future. But now my answer is yes. And today you're going to see how not only can you search for technical crossovers, but we can actually do it for you and actually send you the results no matter where you are. I mean, you could be out there golfing and you could receive trade possibilities on your smartphone, and so it doesn't matter if you're just starting out with technical analysis, or maybe you're in this room today and you're a sophisticated technical trader. I guarantee the information I'm going to share with you today will help you make money. All right, for many technical traders, it's a dream come true. So congratulations for being here today. I really think you're going to see something special that you're not going to see anywhere else. In fact, today's session will cover 3 things. All right, number 1, I'm going to show you how to use 3 of the top technical indicators. All right, I wish we could cover more, but we're going to cover the top 3. All right, you're going to see what they are and what to look for on a graph. The second thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you a way to easily search through all these stocks. I mean, there's thousands of stocks, but I'm going to show you how to easily do it, and within seconds find stocks meeting those crossover patterns. And third, I'm going to show you how to set up VectorVest to automatically alert you of trading opportunities. And again, you don't even need to be near your computer. All right? Now, prior to having these tools that I'm going to show you today, I was like most traders out there, and you probably do this too. You probably pull up chart after chart after chart, right? and just trying to eyeball these things. Just say, oh man, is there a crossover going on here? So I'd be going through all these charts, and I got to the point where I'm just like, forget it. It was just taking up too much time. I was so frustrated. I put it on the back burner. I said, I can't keep doing this. I got a job. I got a family. I just can't keep spending all that time. But about 5 or 6 years ago, VectorVest created tools which dramatically simplified that process. And with these tools, I was able to create a search which does everything for me now that I used to have to plod through manually, right? In fact, what you're looking at here on this slide, this is the end result, right? Using the tools that I'm going to show you today, this is what it's helped produce. The search that I'm going to walk you through today, just one of the techniques that I'm going to show you today, is running automatically for me in my employee portfolio here at VectorVest, and it's up over 62% since 2013, and it's completely hands-off. So today what I'm going to do is, as we go, I'm going to walk you through the settings. I'm going to talk to you about the settings, and if you stick to the end of the webcast, I'll give you a way to get the settings of that technical search. All right, and I'll also have click-by-click directions on how to build it on your own. All right? So, but if you listen carefully as we go through the webcast, you'll pick up bits and pieces of that trading plan. All right, but let me ask you a question. So in the chat box, just let me know, what technical indicators do you find, do you use the most? Now I can only fit 5 things on the slide here, so but if you have one that's not on here, just put it in the chat box. So it looks like Al says none. If you use, let's see, Swagat says 3, so that's moving averages, support and resistance. 4 is stochastics, support and resistance, moving averages. A MACD. Wow, usually I see a lot of MACDs in there. Okay, linear regression 1 and 4, so MACD and stochastics. Paul says he uses all of them. So you only saw a couple of 5s in there. Okay, and David, ADX, DMI. Yeah, Tom, I wish we had time to go through things like RSI, because I just see 4 of you in a row there said RSI. So in the time that we've got today, what we're going to do is we're going to be covering 3 of these. All right, so what we're going to look at MACD, we're going to look at stochastics, and we're going to look at support and resistance. All right, so those are the 3 that we're going to look at today. And usually in the chat box, in that poll, the most popular one happens to be MACD. I'm surprised that more people didn't say it in the chat box today. All right, so MACD, it's a great indicator to help pinpoint those meaningful changes in the stock's price direction. Okay, now I'm not the way I like to learn things is I like to just learn how to use things. So if you were looking for me to go through all the calculations and the mathematics behind the indicators, you're probably in the wrong spot, because I just want to focus on how to use it. All right, so let's actually just look at an example. Now, the example I've got here is I'm using Johnson & Johnson, but really what I'm going to show you here, you can do, and you're going to see the same types of things on almost every chart. I just happen to be using Johnson & Johnson as the example, but actually one of the things I'm going to challenge you to do is actually go and pull up charts and look at these things and really just show yourself that MACD is a really good indicator. All right, so here we're looking at a graph of Johnson & Johnson, and you can see down here at the bottom I've added MACD to this VectorVest graph. All right, so the most common use, there's a few different ways to use MACD. We're going to focus on one of them here today. The most common use is to look for times when this MACD histogram, these little yellow bars, when it crosses above or below this 0 line here. All right, so if you see MACD cross above or below this 0 line, that's going to be something to act on. All right, so that's a great indication that there's a change in the stock's trend. All right, and just here on this chart, we can see several examples. But like I said before, you can actually go through chart after chart, and I want you to just ask yourself a question. When a MACD crossover occurred, especially to like one of these, when it crossed over to the positive side, just ask yourself, did you have a chance to make money? All right, so let's do that here. All right, so here was a crossover. Would you have made money here had you acted on that MACD crossover? And just play along with me in the chat box. Let me know I'm not talking to myself. In the chat box, just either a quick yes or no, or like Lisa says, a Y. So yes, yes, sure, yeah. mean, that's a no-brainer, right? Yes, you would have a chance. So let's go to this next one back here. All right, here was the crossover. All right, did we have a chance here? You know, this one's a maybe, right? Stacy, you just pulled the words out of my mouth. Maybe. So for about 3 or 4 days, you had a little run, but then it, you know, when the MACD turned negative, it, you know, had this pullback. So maybe if you're nimble, or maybe you walked away break even. What about back here? You know, there's a MACD crossover there. It kind of trickled up, right? Rick says a small one. And then we go back here. Yeah, I think this one's more of one of those no-brainers. Some of these are going to be more rhetorical, right? Yeah, this one went up. And how about this one back here? Yeah, right? Some of these you probably don't need to type in the chat box, so I think it's like, yeah, Brian, of course. Then this one back here, going, yeah, right, a little one there. And then maybe this one back here. There's a quick pop, but then it went flat, so maybe that's a break even. And then this one, yeah, maybe a little bit, right? Right? So MACD crossovers to the positive side are a great indication of a chance to be making money. And you're going to see this on stock after stock, and that's what I challenge you to do. Just pull up different charts, and you're going to see this. These positive MACD crossovers, more times than not, will give great buying opportunities. All right, will it work out every time? No, right? I mean, nothing's perfect, right? Or else everybody would be doing it all the time, making money every single trade. But these MACD crossovers, more times than not, will give you great buying opportunities. All right, but what about these negative crossovers, right? Like here. Now, on these negative crossovers, would this crossover here have helped you protect profits? Right? Would it have helped you? Let's say you bought it somewhere back here. Would getting out here have helped you protect profits? So you just have to ask yourself that. And the answer would be yes, right? It's an obvious yes, because it continued to pull back. And then you had this crossover over here. I mean, you're not going to see them all as pretty as this. I mean, this is like 2 days off the top. But sometimes you will. Now, this has helped you protect profits. Also, you can think of it as if you're not in the position, a time to become bearish, maybe enter short positions or buy puts. Or if you were in that long position, you could use it as an indication either to close the position, sell some of the shares, tighten your stops, buy put as an insurance policy. You know, there's a bunch of things, but at least it's giving you that information that you need. All right, so these MACD crossovers not only are great entry signals, you can use these negative crossovers as a way to exit your trades. All right, so in a little bit, I'm going to show you how we're going to be able to easily find these crossovers. So just hang tight. Right? At this beginning part, I'm teaching you about the indicators. So let's talk about the second indicator that we're going to talk about today, which is support and resistance. Right? One of the great things about VectorVest, which I haven't seen elsewhere. Somebody told me that there's one other product that they've seen, but I haven't seen it. But that's the ability to automatically draw these support and resistance lines for you on the chart. All right, so let's take a look at what I'm talking about. All right, everywhere else I've seen actually requires you to, you know, snap these lines yourself. Actually look, kind of eyeball it and draw lines on the chart on where you think support is and where you think resistance is. And you kind of have to eyeball it. All right, however, VectorVest actually does it automatically. Now, before we get too deep into that, let's actually talk about what is support and resistance, because there's a few of you who said you don't use any technical indicators. All right. Basically, support, a support level, which I kind of just highlighted right here, that's a point where stock prices have stopped going down, so you can see this, stopped going down, and they began to go back up, and typically multiple times. Okay, so it's acting like a floor. Sometimes I think of, just bouncing on a pogo stick, my son in the driveway bouncing on the pogo stick, and that's a support. Doing, doing, right? So it's bouncing off of that floor. So that's the support level. Resistance is up here. And resistance is a point where the stock's price has stopped going up and it began to come back down, typically, again, multiple times. Now, I don't like to picture my son hitting his head on the ceiling, but picture somebody else hitting their head on the ceiling. All right, so they hit their head on the ceiling, and typically when they hit their head on the ceiling, they start to come back down. All right, douche, and come back down. Douche, and they start to come back down. All right? I want you to think of support and resistance as the ultimate crowd mentality indicator. Right, think about this, right? Have you ever bought a stock and you watched it go up, right? And then you didn't sell it because you thought it was going to continue to go up. And let's just use here, we have Procter and Gamble, right? All right, here's Procter and Gamble. Let's say you watched it here, and it was making this, it was flattening out, it was channeling or making a base here, and then look at this, pop, pop, and it broke out right here. And if it did that on high volume, you'd been very excited. And let's say you entered the trade somewhere in here, and then you watched it go up, right? And you're like, oh man, you're patting yourself on the back. You're like, I'm a genius. This is great, right? And then what happens? Boom, it falls, right? And you're still holding your shares, right? What do you say to yourself, right? What do you say to yourself? If it ever gets back up to there, I'm going to do what? If it ever gets back up to there, I'm going to sell, right? So what happens after that? Well, the stock price, works its way back up. It gets up to where it was before. Everybody who didn't sell it back here is now putting a lot of selling pressure here, and the stock price comes back down. And you can see the same thing typically multiple times. Okay, and we're going to talk about the breakout in just a minute. All right, so now the reverse is also true. Like when it comes down to support and it starts to rebound off of that, everybody who didn't buy it back here is now over here saying, oh man, last time when it got down there, it started to go back up, and there's more buying pressure over here. Okay? So let's talk about how to use these support and resistance levels in your trading, all right? Because that's the key thing. How do we use this? All right, so there's two things that we're going to talk about as far as buying opportunities, and there's two for selling. All right, so if you're making a little chart on your piece of paper, we're going to talk about two things to look for buying. Okay, first thing, if you see price hitting a support level, right, so coming down here and hitting support and then bouncing off of it, that's bullish. Okay, because typically what price will do is it'll continue to rise until at least the next resistance level. Okay, so when price comes down and bounces off of support, that's a buying opportunity. Okay, make sure it bounces off. I mean, if it's getting near support, you can start to get interested, but wait for it to actually bounce off and start to move back up. Okay, that'd be a buying opportunity. The second buying opportunity, all right, would be something like this over here. You see how price created this resistance level right here? But then over here, you see what happened? It kind of hesitated here, right at resistance, and then boom, it broke through. So think about that. There was inherent selling pressure here from everybody who didn't sell it back here, and for price to overcome that, and if it happens on high volume, I mean, that's bullish. That's a great sign, because typically it would then continue to rise until the next level of resistance. Okay, it would break through. All right, and then this right here becomes the next support. Think of it as you break through the ceiling, and when you break through the ceiling, you're going to continue to go up until your head hits the next ceiling up. If you break through the 7th floor, you're going to go up until you crash into the 8th floor. But then if you land, this level, which used to be resistance, now is then support. Okay, so I kind of went into a little bit more than I wanted to there, but just think, a buying opportunity is if price breaks through resistance. All right, so those are two buying opportunities. Okay? Now let's talk about selling, or ways to use it to become bearish or defensive. Okay, so number one, if you see price coming up and hitting resistance and starting to move back down, all right, like here and over here. So if it hits resistance and it starts to move back down, that's bearish. Because typically what's going to happen is it's going to continue to fall until it lands on the next level of support. All right, so number one, if it's a stock that you own, right? If it's stock that you own and it comes up here and it hits resistance and it starts to move back down, either consider selling it or take other defensive actions. You know, tighten stops, buy a put as insurance, you know, just become defensive. Now, if you don't own the stock, you could see that as a possible shorting opportunity, or if you trade options, you buy puts, or just do a bearish option trade. Okay, so that's one way to become bearish. Now, the other one is if it comes down here to support and it starts to break through. Now, here it actually broke through support and it didn't continue, but a lot of times what you're going to see is if it comes down, breaks through support, and if it continues to move lower, that's bearish, and it will continue to fall until it reaches the next level of support. Okay? So like I said earlier when I was talking about MACD, in a moment I'm going to show you where and how you can automatically find these stocks that are doing this. That way you don't have to go through chart after chart drawing these lines yourself. But it's important that you know how to, you know, what's going on. All right, now the last indicator, the last technical indicator that we'll look at is called the Stochastics Oscillator. And this is actually the one, or one of the main ones that I use in my trading plan that I showed you the results of a moment ago. Okay, now as with other oscillators, right, this oscillator helps pinpoint overbought and oversold conditions. Okay, now don't let all these little squiggly lines, you know, kind of confuse you. You know, sometimes people see all this, you know, wiggly lines and they get all confused. Let's take a closer look at an example and you'll see exactly how it's used. Okay, so let's, I use Merck here as our example. So here with Merck, we've got stochastics down here at the bottom. Now at the lower end, I drew this pink line, or I put this pink line on here at a level of 20. All right, so it's on a scale of 0 to 100. So I put this line here down at a level of 20. And what I want you to notice is that when stochastics is below this level of 20, I just want you to you know, communicate with me through this chat box. Just ask yourself, was the stock near a bottom? I'm not saying was it exactly the day of the bottom, but let's just talk about, was it near a bottom? So let me just get my little pen out here. Hopefully this works here. Let me see. There we go. It's drawing lines for us. So here stochastics was below 20. If I come up to the chart and circle the corresponding time frame, now was it near, somewhere near a bottom? Alright, so I see 2 yeses. Ann says, must confess. I love this. Cool. Raymond says yes. And I'm just going to keep doing the next ones. Is below 20. I'm just going to circle the same time frame. Below 20. Circle the same time frame. Yeah, hopefully I'm matching these up. If not, just yell at me. And we don't know about this one because the chart doesn't show the future here. Alright, so the key thing is just to understand that when stochastics is below 20, the stock is oversold, and it's somewhere near a possible bottom. It's not saying, hey, just because it's below 20, it is at a bottom, but it's near a bottom. So how are we going to use this? Well, we're going to look for when stochastics starts to rise up above 20. All right, so when it's below and it starts to come back up. All right, because then when we match up these corresponding time frames, that's when we start to get some opportunities for some quick pops in the stock's price. Okay? Did I just draw like the symbol for like a female or something? I don't know. Maybe that's what is that, the cross? I don't know. This is the male, isn't it? I don't know. All right, so you have opportunities for gains when you see stochastics go above 20. What I don't write down on your piece of paper Hey, Brian said when stochastics is below 20, I should buy a stock because it's at a bottom. If you wrote that down, cross it out. Instead, write down, look for times when stochastics goes below 20 and starts to rise back up, above 20. Okay? All right, because when that happens, think of it like a rubber band. It's kind of pulled down, and then there's a chance for some quick pops, and that's what I put into the trading plan, and I'm going to show you that in just a minute. All right, now on the opposite end of the spectrum, let me just clear all this off. There we go. We got this level here, level of 80. Now, I'm sure there's other ways to use it. The most effective way I've found to use it is just to let me know when it's not a good time to be initiating a long position. Because the stock is overbought. It doesn't mean that it's at a top. It's just kind of, it's not in an ideal position. Basically, if I see it that it's above 80, you know, up here, if stochastics is up here somewhere, I just wait, right, hold off and wait for it to come back down below 20 and then rise up again. All right, so what we've done so far is we've looked at 3 popular technical indicators. So let me ask you this. What we've looked at so far, just by knowing that information, like if we were to log off right now, if that was all new to you, can that information help you in your trading? All right, just know that information, just to let me know. Was it helpful? Can that help be helpful in your trading? So like now when you pull up a chart and you see these things, can that help you with your trades? Ann says yes, and it does. Helpful, yes, yes, yes. Some Y's in there. I'll take those as yeses. Perfect. Okay, now this next question is more rhetorical, but we could do things the hard way or the easy way, and I'm just going to assume that you're going to all say that you want to do things the easy way. If I'm wrong and you want to do it the hard way, just let me know. But I'm going to show you how to do things the easy way. Because the hard way was looking through all those charts, and we don't want to do that. All right, so we're going to choose easy. All right, most technical traders spend all their time looking at these charts all day and look through hundreds of graphs. All right, so what VectorVest has done is dramatically simplified that process by creating a search tool, which does all the work for us. So I'm actually going to go into VectorVest and show you some of the things that it does for you. All right, so I'm going to see if I can use these tools that Raleigh gave me, and I'm going to try and switch over to the VectorVest tool. So let me just try this out. Hopefully it'll work. Now let me exit out of this PowerPoint here. Let's see. I think I see it on. You should see my screen. If you don't, I'm sure you'll yell at me in the chat box. All right, so here we're looking at VectorVest. Inside of VectorVest, we have a tool which we feel is a very powerful search tool. It's called Unisearch. Over on the left-hand side, we've got a bunch of folders. We have this folder group called ProTrader. Okay, we've got a search group called ProTrader, and that's where we hold all of our technical searches. All right, you can use any of the ones that are in here. You can modify them, create your own. All right, but let me show you. All right, we have first off, we have a bunch of technical indicator searches in here. So some of you were interested in just moving averages. Well, we've got moving average crossover searches, weighted, exponential, and so on. Detrended price oscillator. A few of you said RSI, right? So we've got some searches that look at RSI in here. We've got MACD, of course, envelopes, and there's a bunch in here that we have available that just we don't have pre-created for you. But let's take a look at the ones we focused on today. So let me find it. There it is. MACD crossover long. Okay. When I click on MACD crossover long, over on the right-hand side is the criteria. Now, don't get all confused because it's got a bunch of stuff over here. It's just pretty simple. Let me explain what's there for you. When I click on the search, here's the criteria. This is a search you would run if you're bullish, and you could tell that because it's got a green arrow next to it right here. All right, now, by running this search, what it's going to do is we actually track over 8,000 stocks here in the U.S. So this search here is going to find all the stocks that are over $1, so they have to be over $1, that they trade over 100,000 shares on average, and of course you can modify that if you want, like if you want 500 or a million. Okay, but here's one of the two key parts, and let me just pull this over a little bit. There we go. It's looking for the MACD crossover to be happening in this last day, which means today. All right, so when you run this search, out of all 8,000 stocks, it's going to immediately find all of the stocks that had a MACD crossover as of that day. And here I'm looking at, it's 12:15 right now. So if I were to run this search right now, you guys get some free information right now. When I run it, it's giving me all of the stocks that have had a MACD crossover today. But that's not it. You have an extra advantage here. Because there could be a bunch of stocks that had a MACD crossover today. What we're going to do is we do a little bit extra for you. All right? Is we sort the stocks for you. So out of all of the stocks that had a MACD crossover, we've got this proprietary indicator called VST, which stands for the best combination of their value, their safety, and their timing. So those are the stocks that are right here at the top. All right, so let's just take a look. I mean, let's see what we got here. I'm just going to hit this graph button. And let me pull this over here. Hopefully it still shows up. I'm trying to see it in my little preview to see if you see it. Oh, there we go. I got to switch to that. Maybe I won't do pop-up screen. There we go. Hopefully you see my chart now. So this is the first stock that was in the list, GILD. And I'm just going to zoom in here to that way you can see it a little bit better. All right, so here you can see MACD, the histogram was negative, and boom, today positive. Now this stock happens to be on this nice run, but let's find another one. See this? Negative turned positive. Go to the next one. Look at this. MACD negative, negative, negative. Boom. Turned positive. Oh man, look at this. Negative, negative, negative. Boom. Today, it just went positive. I mean, how quick is that? Let me just close that. And I think I got to switch this back to VectorVest. There we go. I'm just changing the screen that I'm showing you guys. I'll just wait for it to show up on my screen that you could see it. All right. I mean, so number one, huge time saver, right? And number two, they're sorted by VST, so it's saving you time and giving you great stocks. Now, while you can run that search any day, at any time, you know, like I just ran it at 12:18, so you can run it at any time. Another benefit that you get with VectorVest is you know exactly when to run it, like exactly which day, because we have market timing signals, and let me show you that. If I click over to graphs, we have this. We track the market's direction. All right, so I'm just going to. Here's the market over the past year, right? And let me put on our calls. I'm not going to go in through all the specifics of the calls, but we have these calls that tell you when to be in the market. All right, so one of the benefits is to match, you know, these signals with when you run your search. Okay, so let's, you know, just combine this. So, you know, let's start back in a year ago. The first signal was September 9th, 2013, and it lasted until December 11th. So September 9th to December 11th. So if I go back into the Unisearch, let's just see. Let's just go back to September. So we got some historical data here. If we go to September 9th, that was the day that we had that up signal. And if we run it, and here we have these stocks. So let's try this again. I'm just going to graph these stocks and show you the chart. Alright, so back here, this was on this arrow, September 9th. Alright, here's the MACD crossover. Good time to get in, right? Right, good time to get in, so that's stock number one. Stock number two, was that a good time to get in? And these were just the top stocks on that day. Good time to get in, right? I mean, you get the idea. I mean, let me just close out of this. We have this little tool in VectorVest which lets us actually test out how they did. It's this little button here called Quick Test. Let me just wait for the screen to load. There we go. So if I go down to, let me just test the top 5. So let's say you like to buy 5 stocks at a time. Alright, and it looks like I had to switch the screen again. There we go. Wait for you to see it. There we go. So this is our little testing tool. So I'm going to go from September 9th, and what was it, December 11th, right? Alright, so if I go to December 11th, and hit OK, and then I just run this test of these top 5. I mean, look at this. From the time VectorVest gave the up signal to the time we gave a down signal, these were the top 5 stocks that had a MACD crossover on September 9th. They're at 44%. You know, from the day of the signal until the day the signal turned against us. Okay? 44% all winners. Alright, so let me close out of this. Let me switch back over to the VectorVest platform so you can see that. Alright, and you can actually test this out and build a trading plan around this if you wanted to. And we got this little, where is it? Let me just show you what you could do. You could go to the portfolios area and watch this. There's a tool in VectorVest called the auto timer, and watch what you could do. You can say MACD crossovers. Alright, hit OK. And we're going to use this tool in VectorVest called the Genius and the auto timer. And I'm going to build my own little trading system around this. So I'm going to use our DEW timing. And what was that search? MACD crossover, right? So here's a little sample trading plan. If you want to write down a way to use MACD to trade, you can use MACD, and how about like a 20%, sell a stock if you gain 20%, and if you lose 10%, you know, for some reason it goes against you, you sell it, and you just manage 5 positions. And let's go to cash here. Alright, so, but watch what this does. Oh, you don't have any picture. Sorry about that. Let me switch. Thanks, guys. Let's see. How about why don't I just do this? Let me just show you the whole monitor. That way I don't have to keep switching. This might work better. I think the last time I did this, you had this annoying green line at the top. But hopefully this will work out better for you. Alright. So you should see this screen that says what I was showing you. We're going to build a little timing system. Thanks, Raymond. Thanks for being on my side there, Raymond. So we're going to build a little trading system. We're going to use the MACD crossover search, and we're going to sell if it gains 20% or loses 10%. And if we get a down signal, we'll just close out of everything, just go into cash. Alright, so I'm going to hit finish, and then I'm going to hit save. Watch what this does now. This, see how this little thing is spinning around? What this is doing is I've now built a portfolio that it is now waiting for a signal. It is scanning the market, and second after second, day after day, it is now scanning the market, waiting for the next market up signal. And when a market up signal comes, it's going to automatically run that MACD crossover search and buy the top 5 stocks into this portfolio. Now this is paper trading, but the cool thing is it would then send you an alert saying, hey Bob, hey Raymond, hey Rick. Right? What you're going to get is you're going to get an email that says it bought XYZ stock, 300 shares at 11:15 a.m. So then you could duplicate that with your actual broker. Pretty cool stuff. Alright, so that was a little bit about MACD and how you can automate it. Alright, let me show you the one that I put into that trading plan of mine. Let me go back over to the Unisearch. There we go. Okay, so here we are in the Unisearch, right? Let me show you that search, which is very similar to the search that I'm running in my portfolio. Okay, in the Unisearch, we've got a built-in search down here. Gotta find it. There it is. Stochastics and EMA. And if you don't know what EMA stands for, it stands for exponential moving average. Alright, so what this search is doing, and by the way, I'm just going to shrink this left-hand side just to give us a little more room. Okay, so what this search is doing is it's looking for, out of all the stocks that we track, it's making sure that the stochastics has crossed above 20 in the past 2 days. So it could have happened today or yesterday. But in addition to that, check out what else it's doing. It's making sure that the price, which is just this 1-day moving average, the price crossed above the 10-day exponential moving average, price crossed above the 20-day exponential moving average, and price crossed above the 30-day exponential moving average, all in the past 2 days. Now imagine doing that by hand, right? Or going graph by graph looking for that stuff. All right, so it's doing all that for us, and once again, it's going to sort the stocks by VST, by value, safety, and timing. Those will be the ones at the top. Okay, so that's what it's doing for us, and again, let's do this. I think the best way to illustrate how I trade it is I'm going to show you an example. Okay? All right, I'm going to show you an example. And I'm just going to choose a date that really illustrates the point the best. All right, so we had a DEW, which is a market timing signal on July 8th, 2013. So this will help illustrate the point. So July 8th, 2013, I'm just going to run this search, and these are the stocks that showed up on that day. Okay? I want you to think about this. When a stock has the stochastics coming back up above 20, right, number one, it was bullish, right? But remember, it was like a rubber band, and you're looking for a quick gain. All right? So you're not necessarily buying and holding these stocks for like a year, right? You're not necessarily, you're not buying them and holding them with the intent on holding them for a year, or they're not going to become, mainstays for your retirement account. What we're looking at here is, so for some quick gains, some quick trades. All right, so let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me just quick test. Let me just do the top 10 to show you what I'm talking about. So on July 8th, there was an up signal, and then after July 8th, there was a down signal on the 16th of August, 2013. All right, so the top 10 stocks, if you're looking at this, the top 10, 8 of them went up, which is good, right? Only 2 of them went down, so far so good, but you might be looking at this, and you say, 0.68%, this is garbage. Well, let me show you what I've been using in my portfolio to actually make that 62% in the past year and a half. All right, so take a look at this. We had 2 losers here, RTEC and UAM, big losers in the portfolio. What I found that is pretty effective is to be looking for a quick pop of about 8%. Okay, quick pop of 8%. All right, so let's do this. Let's kind of live through this as if it was, we were doing it day by day. Okay, so imagine you bought these stocks into your portfolio on July 8th, and then you came home, and on July 9th, you looked at your portfolio. And this is what your portfolio would have looked like. All right, so after 1 day, we had a couple of stocks up 1%, 1.5%, but none of them were up 8%, right? So guess what? You log off, you come back the next day. So you check your portfolio the next day. All right, any of them up 8%? Nope. All right, and none of them have gone against you severely. And what I've been looking at is a 20% stop. And I can explain that in a little bit. All right, but let's just do this day by day. I'm going to go a little faster just to save some time. So here on July 11th, you look at your portfolio and you're like, oh, wow, RTEC is getting so close to 8%. But it's not there yet, so let's move on to the next day. Here we are on the 12th. Oh, still close. All of them are up. My portfolio as a whole is up 3%. That's good. Let's go to the 15th. So now you're checking your portfolio on the 15th. And there we go. Look at that. RTEC up 9%. So guess what you do? You sell it, right? All right, you take your profits. Remember the rubber band snapped up. You take your 9% gain, you're out, right? So now let's go ahead another day, because now you got 9 stocks left. All right, no other ones are up 8%. Let's go to the 17th. And so you're just checking the portfolio once a day here. None of them. And let's go to the 18th. And all right, we got two more. IACI and UAM, both up at 8% gains. Now, just to save time, you know, if you had, yeah, who said that? Raymond says, get out now. If you had kept repeating that process of what I just showed you and just looking for those 8% gains, you actually would have sold 8 of the 10 stocks for 8% gains, for an overall portfolio gain of over 7% in 1 month. All right, and that's the technique that I've been using successfully for, what is it, about 2 years now? Okay, and let me actually just show you something here. And let's see. Let me close out of this. I'm actually logged into my account here, and if I scroll down, there it is, Brian D'Amico. And let me just shrink this side. There we go. So this is the portfolio since just before 2013 began. It's up 1% today. All right, so after that market pullback, you see it didn't really pull back very much. It only pulled back a few percentage points, and now it's back up to 62.5%. All right, but look at that nice little equity curve. And let's take a look at the trade history. And you're going to see exactly what I was just talking about. Let me just hit the close. So it closed out of 2 positions on July 31st. And if I scroll over, I think one of them was actually a loser. You can see the 20% loss. You know, sometimes that happens, right? But look at this, 14% gain. They must have popped that day. 8%, 8%, 8%, 8%, 8%, 8%. A loser here, 8%, and you can see that down here. And if I scroll down, you know, just following that, it's just a mechanical system, right? If I close that, and look at this, you're making 8% sometimes in a matter of, you know, here was 2 months. Here was about a month and a half. Here's 2 weeks. All right, so over the past year and a half, 2 years, let me just show you the summary. Overall, 89 winning trades, 19 losing trades, and if we just look at the closed positions, 87 winners, 11 losers. I mean, just a mechanical system, and that's why I want to, you know, do the webcast for you today and really show you these techniques of stochastics and, you know, when to sell and building it into a trading plan. All right, now I want to show you one last thing today, you know, and it's one of the coolest features in VectorVest, and it's the ability of VectorVest to actually send alerts to you of the MACD crossovers if you're not even near your computer. All right, so we use this tool here called the Watchdog. All right, this Watchdog, as the name implies, it watches the market for you all day, and it alerts you of possible trades. Okay, so what you could do is actually, if you set one up, let me just pull that up. If I create a new Watchdog, we can set it up to be looking for MACD crossovers or support and resistance breakouts. So if I do MACD, now let's say I'm bullish on the market right now, right? Crossing above. So I'm looking for MACD's histogram is crossing above. You can set the filters, right? And say, oh man, I only want to look at the S&P 500. That's all I want to look at. All right, and then if I hit finish, now by setting up that Watchdog, now my Watchdog is watching the market all day. I could be out and about, I could be shopping with my wife, I could be out playing golf, and I could get, anytime a stock has a MACD crossover, I get an alert. Now, nothing's happening right now on the screen, so what I've done, let me show you an example of what this does for you. All right, I built into the PowerPoint here. There we go. This is an example. All right, so here's a chart of DISCA from last year. Right, had a MACD crossover, and I highlighted September 12th. But let me show you this. This is what an email alert would look like. And you can see here, the Watchdog sent this alert to me September 11th at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I happened to be in a meeting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so I couldn't react to this crossover until the 12th. So I placed a trade in the morning of the 12th to buy 100 shares of DISCA, and that's what's highlighted there. Then here, it hit, you know, surprise, surprise, an 8% gain in 15 days, all because the watchdog sent the alert, and otherwise, I might not have known about it. I was in a meeting. Didn't really have time to pay attention to it, but the watchdog was watching it for me. It's really cool stuff. Okay? Now, you showed up today for a few reasons. All right? Number one, you probably wanted to learn how to effectively use popular technical indicators in your trading. Number two, you wanted to see how you could easily search for stocks meeting those technical patterns. And number three, you wanted to see how VectorVest can alert you of those possible trades. And we looked at that through the watchdog. Now, in addition, I hope you also saw how you can use our market timing signals to tell you when to place these trades, which will help really enhance your performance. And number two, I hope you also saw that time VectorVest will save you and how important speed is to your performance. All right? I mean, think about this. These technical indicators are super popular. Right? There's a lot of technicians out there who trade based on things like MACD crossover. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy that if a MACD crossover happens, that the stock's price is going to react positively. So guess what? If you're able to be one of the first people to spot the MACD crossovers and react to it, you're getting it in ahead of everybody else. So I hope you're able to see the time that VectorVest is saving you and how important that speed is to your performance. So at this point, the obvious question that you have right now is, how can I get the tools up and running myself? But I want to point something out. I always point this out, something that Albert Einstein said. He said, everything should be made as simple as possible, but don't make it simpler. It's important that you understand what I'm showing you here is not meant to be a get-rich-quick scheme. Right? It's not something where you should expect results in 24 hours and expect to be a millionaire tomorrow. Right? I mean, this is serious. I mean, if you're not going to commit to it, then don't do it. It's not for you. This is for serious people who want to take their trading seriously and who are willing to put time in to learn the system. Right? But this is why VectorVest was created and why we've put together this special offer for you. We put it together for you serious traders who want a simple way to find your trades, and we've broken it down into 4 components. The market timing aspect, charting, the Pro Trader searches component, and the alerts and automation. So let me tell you what you're going to get. All right, first off, it's all about knowing when to place your trades. So you will get the market timing gauge, and that's what we call it, the market timing gauge, and this color guard, and it's updated every single day. So if I were to sum that up, component number 1, what it's going to give you is very clear entry points into the market. It takes all of the guesswork out, and you know when it's safe to buy stocks. All right? You also know with component number 1, this market timing component, is you'll know when to exit the market. So once again, you're going to have the market timing gauge and color guard always giving you very clear signals when it is not time to be buying stocks and when you should exit the market or become bearish. Now there's some places out there that charge like $400 to $500 for a market timing service, and it doesn't have the historical track record that you find with VectorVest. All right, now second, you'll get the fundamental and technical charts. All right, so you'll be able to chart over 30 fundamental and 11 technical indicators. And this also includes that support and resistance that I showed you a moment ago, and they're automatically drawn for you on the charts. Okay? Now I haven't seen any other product do it, and these are the best looking charts that I've seen. They're so crisp and clean. Now component number 3 is Pro Trader searches. All right? With Pro Trader searches, you're going to be able to find what stocks to trade. We only looked at, 2 examples today. We feel this is one of the most powerful search engines out there, because within seconds you're able to find stocks that meet your desired technical charting patterns. All right? Now you're also going to get our alerts and automation system, beginning with this watchdog tool. Now I just showed a glimpse of this today, but this is our advanced alerting system that monitors the entire market for you and identifies stocks meeting specific MACD or support and resistance criteria so you never miss a trade. Okay? In addition, you'll also receive the portfolio automation and the portfolio genius. Now I showed a glimpse of that today when I built a portfolio of the MACD crossovers. Right? Now, I actually use the Portfolio Genius along with the auto timer, which I'll show in just a moment, to manage that portfolio, and I showed you that portfolio. This is an incredible tool to implement a mechanical trading system. And if you add in, which we're adding in today, the VectorVest auto timer, it's going to make it that much better. Because this tool makes not only back testing quick and easy, you'll be able to test any trading plan over any period using market timing signals, but then you could take that and do what I did and put it into a portfolio and automate the entire trading plan, which would send you alerts which you can then react to and place trades with your own broker. Now folks, it's all about having the tools that you need to make the best trades at the best time and to drastically reduce the amount of time that you spend analyzing your trades. Alright, so you get the market timing gauge and the color guard, the fundamental and technical charting, important resistance levels drawn for you on the charts, pro trader searches, the watchdog, the automated portfolio manager with the alerts, and real-time streaming data. Now if you want to buy all this on its own, you can call us, we'll sell it to you for $137 a month. Alright, even though it's worth a lot more than that, I mean we could sell it for $137 a month. We've been doing that for 8 years now, or 6 years now. For being here today, we've got a few bonuses. Bonus number one of our consultants will work with you one-on-one to get you started. We will guide you through the installation, help you analyze your existing portfolio. We'll introduce you to what we call the Surefire trading systems. We'll help you get it all set up. That consultation is valued at $95, but we're including it today as a bonus. Second bonus is this. We don't want to just give you content. We want to help you apply that content. So we'd love to work with you in our group coaching program for real-time subscribers for free. All right? Now this is members only for people who have real-time. You're invited for 10 weeks in this group coaching. We basically get together on a webcast, just similar to this, but using GoToWebinar. Basically, we get together every 2 weeks on a webcast like this. I'll give you tips and techniques on how to use VectorVest real-time. We'll discuss what's going on in the market, what our market timing indicators are advising, and I'll spend time updating and discussing the Surefire Success trading systems. If you need any help with any part of the system, I'll help you out. 10 weeks in this coaching is valued at $475. Like I said, it's all about having the tools you need to have a trading plan that you trust. So you make the best trades at the best time and to drastically reduce the amount of time you spend analyzing your trades. So again, you get 10 weeks. This is a special offer today. We're going to give you 10 weeks of VectorVest 7 real time. Not 1 month. We're going to give you 10 weeks. 10 weeks of real time is valued at $342.50. Because remember, it was $137 a month. You're also going to get the one-on-one consultation. You're going to get 10 weeks in the coaching program. All right? Total value of everything is over $900. Now we're prepared to give it all to you today for only $29 for a full 10 weeks. All right, this is a webcast special only, Traders Pub special only. Just go to vectorvest.com/betterprofits. And it looks like Yana just placed that into the chat box. All right, so for new members to VectorVest, if you want to try out VectorVest real time, all right, try out VectorVest. Get everything I just mentioned for 10 weeks. All right, $29. Go to vectorvest.com/betterprofits. Now, folks, this is also completely guaranteed. You probably won't even need this. All right, but if for some reason you don't like it during your first 30 days, we'll give you all your money back. Just send us an email and say, hey, I want my $29 back. But this gives you that peace of mind. I mean, we're very confident you'll love what you get, but you're not locked into any contracts with us. Now, also, extra bonus, if you order in the next 60 minutes, all right, if you go to vectorvest.com/betterprofits in the next 60 minutes, I will send you the complete trading plan, a PDF of the complete trading plan that I've used for the last 2 years in my employee portfolio. It'll have click-by-click directions so that you can create the search, because it's not a built-in search to VectorVest. You actually have to create it, but I'll show you how to do that. along with the portfolio settings, which I did hint at today, like I promised, the stop criteria and everything. So those directions will walk you through setting it up to automatically run in a VectorVest portfolio of your own. And like I said, since 2013, this trading plan has generated, you saw, what was it, 87 winning trades, I think it was, and just over 10 losing trades. I need to update that slide, but it's pretty close to what it was, and I showed you in the portfolio. All right, I mean, here's an example, just a testimonial that we received from Barry. Now, Barry says, hey, he sent me this email. He said, hey, Brian, I took you up on your offer of going to real-time with VectorVest in the last couple of weeks and have used a variation of your stochastics and EMA crossover technique with great success already. Thank you and VectorVest very much. All right. Here's just another quick look at, I couldn't fit all the trades on one slide, but here's a quick look at the trades. And you can see some of them, like here at the end of 2013, 11 calendar days, 10%. You can see some of them are actually paying for a full year worth of VectorVest if you ever wanted to go to real time. It's actually not even that expensive. $1,400 is a lot less than that. All right, but today's offer is $29 for 10 weeks, plus if you order in the next 60 minutes, you get this trading plan. All right? Let me summarize. VectorVest was started in 1988 with the hope of delivering great investing and trading opportunities to Main Street. Today, you are invited to join VectorVest. You're able to simply run one of the pre-built searches to easily find stocks meeting technical patterns. You can also receive alerts of trade possibilities with the auto timer along with the watchdog. You're getting a service and tools that save you enormous amounts of time. All right, think of it about this. Wealthy people spend money to save time. Poor people spend all of their time trying to save some money. All right, these tools will save you enormous amounts of time. All right, plus we guarantee it. Now you have 24 hours to decide if it's for you, but if you order in the next 60 minutes, you get that PDF. This is designed to make you a faster, smarter, and better trader. In order to get it, go to VectorVest.com/betterprofits. You can use the link that's in the chat today. We'd love to see you with us. We look forward to working with you. And I want to say thank you for being here today. That's not a picture of me, right? That's not a picture of me, but I want to thank you all for being here today. I'll stick around until Yana or Raleigh kick me out, but I'll answer questions if you've got any. It looks like Angel's been very busy in the chat box answering questions. Mick says, will this scan Canadian stocks? Yeah, Mick, it will. Let me pull up. Actually, I'm logged into our, let me see if I can get it up here. I'm logged into our U.S. product. Mick, if you live in Canada, you get an extra bonus. What we do is, for any Canadian resident, you get access to both our VectorVest Canada product and our VectorVest US product. All right, so Mick, what you would want to do is when you sign up for this, we can only give you one of them on real time. All right, and I recommend that you do the US version on real time because Canadian, the exchange fees are a lot more. That's not, we don't charge those things. Well, I mean, we have to charge them for the exchanges, but as an added benefit of being Canadian, you can get VectorVest US on real time and VectorVest Canada on a 15-minute delay. It's actually pretty cool. So you can get that. Soft says, where do you trade? VectorVest or a broker? You still need a broker. We're not a broker. Do we recommend brokers for VectorVest clients? Kind of. I mean, there's different brokers do different things. I mean, we do have some relationships. Like in Canada, we have a relationship with Questrade. We're working with some here in the U.S. Some of them just flew by the screen. I missed a couple of questions. Cheryl, we don't have one for the Apple computer. We do have an iPad and an iPad and iPhone app, which we're actually working on improving and making better. But with an Apple computer, you still need like a PC emulator, like Parallels or Boot Camp or something like that. When this trade can come out, I don't know. Yes, John, we do cover the UK market. Same thing. If you live in the UK, you would get access to both VectorVest 7 UK and VectorVest US. So the UK product is an end-of-day product, so you could get VectorVest 7 US real-time and UK on end-of-day. Does it work on IB? Do you mean interactive brokers? Um, if you use interactive brokers, that's just kind of its own platform. So you have to just place your trades through them. Let's see. Cheryl says rebate the first 10 people. That's something that looks like Yana put in there. I don't know, Yana, if you want to explain that. That's I didn't expect that. Either Yana or Raleigh posted something in the chat there that I don't want to speak for them, but you can kind of explain what that's all about, Yana. Or Raleigh, if you're still there. If not, I'll just keep talking. I'll just read what Yana put in there. If you buy the $29 special offer today and email us a copy of your receipt, we will rebate the first 10 people who send an email to support@tradingpub.com. Oh, that's pretty cool. Thanks, Yana. That's very cool. It's a very unexpected and appreciated. So the first 10 people, you pay. It looks like you would pay the $29. We would send you a receipt via email, and then you just forward that receipt to the email address that Yana provided, support@tradingpub.com, and the first 10 people get their $29 back. Let's see. Sven, and Germany. We have a VectorVest Europe product, and Germany is included in that. Basically, everything that's traded on the euro, or I'd say, we've got a bunch of things that trade on the euro in our VectorVest Europe product. So if you live in Europe, you would get VectorVest US and our end-of-day Europe product. Yes, you can put this on more than one computer. Now, you can only log into one at a time because there's only one of you. But yeah, like right now I'm on a separate computer. Later on I'll go back to my office and I'll log in there. Then I'll go home and I'll log in there. So yes. We don't have an auto trade, a broker that auto trades. The only thing we have close now is in Canada, where you can right-click on a stock and you can place the trade with Quest Trade, and so you can log in, go to your Quest Trade account directly through VectorVest. We don't have that set up yet in the U.S., but we're working on it. Lawrence, yes. Is the webinar being recorded? Yes, and I think Yana, they will send out links to the recording. So you'll get a link to the recording via email. And awesome, John, ordered from Canada. Welcome aboard. Guys, our next coaching session is next Wednesday. So if you get in now, you'll be registered for the next Q&A, the next real-time coaching session just for real-time people, which is next Wednesday at 1:30. Sorry, Cheryl, I can't. If I had a magic wand, I would do that. I have a Mac at home, so I got both a PC and a Mac, but I bring my Mac in my bag everywhere I go, so it'd be nice. Bobby says, in Singapore? Guess what, Bobby? We also have VectorVest 7 Singapore. We do. Let me. I wish I could. Let me see if I got a web browser I can pull up. Yeah, let me just answer quickly. Yes, we have a VectorVest 7 Singapore. I don't have time to pull up the web browser and go to the site and everything. When did VectorVest issue the latest down sell signal? I don't know the exact date. It was recently, but then we started to get, we're in a bull market, just so you know. But we had a down signal here. Actually, yeah. Where is it? July 25th, before this. Let me just zoom in here. Before the boom, 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 before that drop. Now the market has started to recover, and we just got our initial up signals back on August 8th, which I go to right there. So our preliminary signals of ups started to come there, and then we got a green light on the 11th, the day after that. Let's see. I missed a couple of questions. I'm sorry. Yeah, Johan says, and South African JSE stocks. Yes, we have VectorVest 7 South Africa. Yes, we do. But remember that we only have the real-time product in the U.S. and in Canada. All the other countries have end-of-day data, but it's still applicable there. What do I mean? Right-click Quest Trade. Soph, if you had a stock that you were looking at, let me just go here. If you were logged into VectorVest Canada and you right-clicked on a stock, there would be. Oh, there it is. Trade now with Quest Trade. That's what it would look like. And then, I don't have a Quest Trade account, or else I'd show you. But I think we actually will have a Quest Trade, joint webcast next week sometime. But this is what it would look like. Trade now with Quest Trade, and then it would be brought to your Quest Trade account, and you could place the trade there. But you still have to place it in your broker's account. All right. The data feed, the VectorVest is after the 10 weeks is up. Let me just show you. Let me pull this up. www.vectorvest.com/betterprofits. All right, and so then I understand that you'll be charged at $29, and then it's $137 a month, just like I said it was. After the 10 weeks is up, it's really $129 a month plus 8 of that. There's $8 of exchange fees that goes to the exchanges. So it's $129 plus 8. That's why it's $137. Paul says that's great. I've joined. Looking forward to it. Awesome. Welcome aboard, Paul. I feel like I'm a cruise ship director. But I'll see you next Wednesday at the coaching session, and just give us, once you get started, the one thing I'd recommend that you do once you get it installed, right here on the Welcome tab, click here to continue. It'll be a guided tour, but then also call us for your consultation session. All right, and it looks like I'm right up against my time, so I'm expecting to be kicked out any minute now. Looks like Angel's doing a great job of answering these questions that I missed. I'm scrolling down. So let me just put one last time up on the screen, sum this up. Where is it? There it is. $29 for 10 weeks, VectorVest.com/betterprofits. We look forward to working with you. I think my time is up, so I'm going to pass it back over to whoever's going to jump in, either Rob